Good morning, self-storage lovers. Okay, so today I want to firstly apologize that I haven't done a podcast this week, only one podcast. I did want to do five, but unfortunately, because I was away the last 2.5 weeks, I have got loads to do. And you know what? So many things broke as well these last couple of days. So this is Friday when I'm recording this. And what I'm going to do Friday, what I'm going to do today is I was planning on doing my monthly figures for every single site, but I realized monthly figures for every single site every single day, so one a day. But I realized that hey, it's May and we're talking about March results. So what I'm going to do just to close off the loop is tell you every single site's monthly figures today. I'm going to whip through them all, and then that'll be it. And then we can start afresh on Monday when we've got some awesome self-storage tips coming up next week. So Monday will be the weekend numbers. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be a self-storage tip, something that you guys can use. Yeah, it's awesome. And by the way, if you haven't seen, I have gone viral. Well, it's viral to me, all right. I've had 75,000 views in 48 hours, which is awesome on TikTok. I just did a TikTok. The Storage Bros are on TikTok, and I thought, well, I'm going to do it as well then. If you haven't checked out the Storage Bros, they are awesome. And I really genuinely enjoy their contacts. And there's a guy called Locked as well. He's on TikTok. And I just think it's brilliant that people are documenting the process and showing exactly what other people are doing. I mean, for example, you can always learn from anybody else just because you've got more sites than somebody, or if you've got less sites than somebody else, it doesn't matter. We can always learn from each other. This is what the beauty about this industry. For example, Storage Bros was talking about a light and a camera or something. I can't remember which one it was. What was it? I think it was a camera, maybe. Anyway, they got it off Amazon. Really, really cheap. And it's a Bluetooth camera. Unbelievable. And it's solar as well. I'm like, that is incredible. And so stupid things like that, I'm like, I've just completely overlooked it. I mean, I'm obviously we work with companies who do it for us, but I'm going to implement that in my course and say, look, if you want to save money, you don't want to spend like the 4 or 5 grand that I spend, then you can do what the Storage Bros have done and do it cheaper. Anyway, so let's get on with the monthly figures for the other sites. I've already done Willoughby, so I'm going to do the other 5 sites today, and yeah, and obviously South Shields isn't open yet. That's our 7th site. And then next week I've got a professional YouTube channel coming out as well. So at least once a week, we're going to be doing completely different content, but on YouTube. We're taking this shit seriously now. And why? Because I want to sell my course, all right? Somebody actually said to me on TikTok, said, Dean, if you're so successful, why are you selling the course? Which, by the way, is a great question. Never take offense by it whatsoever, because that's what I'd be thinking as well. And the simple answer is it's twofold or threefold. So number one is obviously I've been putting content out for years and years and years and years with this podcast. 839, I think this is episode, and I get asked the same questions. So all of a sudden, it was last February. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to make a course. I'm just going to do a course. I'm going to answer the questions and boom, see if anyone wants to buy it. And 6 figures later, I was like, people want it. And then with that 6 figures, it helped us open Glasgow. And I thought, hang about a minute. If I sell more courses, I could open more self-storage sites. I don't have to borrow as much money. Why not? But the only trouble is I've got to be careful not to sell too many, because ultimately it is cannibalizing my business, because I'm creating more competition for me. Right, let's get on with this. So if you don't want to buy my course, let me know. And at the minute, it's if you go Mr. Self Storage /workshop, you'll mrselfstorage.com /workshop, you'll find the training there and a chance to buy my course. But I think it's way too cheap, like I was explaining to someone yesterday. Right. Okay, let's have a look at Beverly. So remember, this is the end of March. So key things to note here, quotes were exactly the same as February. The best ever for Beverly. That is, sorry, it was April. This is the April figures. Yeah, so there was the same as March. Conversions were on the low side, but it's just because we're just about full. Cancelled and expired reservations was 2. That's fairly high, to be fair. Cost to acquire a customer is 0 at Beverly because we don't advertise. That's the beauty about finding a site with very limited self-storage. And it's a town. If you're in a city, or a larger town, then you're going to have more competition and you're going to have to advertise. So we don't advertise here at all. Square foot moved in was fairly low, but that's due to our occupancy. Square foot moved in was, let's have a look, see if I can find it. 785. It's not too bad, but it's on the low. It is on the low side. The churn. This is really concerning. It was 20% churn. That's really high for Beverley. That's the highest in 30 months. That's nuts. Net square foot was terrible. We lost 670 square foot. Square foot moved out was 1,455. So we're 86% occupied, which on the face of it is okay. And by the way, at the minute, as we stand now, we're 100% full. We've got more units coming with double stacking at Beverley, so we're going to increase revenue there. So at the minute, this is the 2nd of May, we're 100% full. Beverley has been a great site for us. The average insurance sold is over £6,000, and the revenue was the best ever. So what score do we give it out of 10? We give it a solid 7. Now, the reason why I want higher is because I was concerned about the net square foot that we lost. That was a hell of a lot to lose. Right, let's have a look at Clough Road. I'm just opening, excuse me, just opening the figures, and it's when I'm going to my newsletter here to find them, and it's when me, Gavin Shields, Shannon, and Claire Siobhan, all went out, and the amount of messages I've had about my physique in this picture, because I've seen the picture, it's from the newsletter, and I've hurt my back, so I was sticking my back out. All right, I'm not that big, and it was the only photo where Claire, my wife, wasn't pulling a funny face in her eyes shut, so we had to use that one apparently. Right, let's have a look then. Best quotes for 6 months, so really encouraging. And I want to just say that this is April, and that was. Oh, sorry, no, it's not. Sorry, no, it's not April. I keep saying it's April. No, this is March. Sorry, so Beverley was March, so we haven't got the monthly figures yet for April. So the key things to note here is that it was when the stamp duty incentive was on. So January, February, and March were very busy because of the incentive. April haven't been as good, so that's something to remember. In excuse me, in my community, it's either some people are absolutely smashing it in April, and some people are having a disastrous time. We lost about 1,500 square foot as a company in April, so I don't think it was a good month for us. Right, Clough Road in March, best quotes for 6 months. Conversions weren't great, nor were move-ins or reservations, both terrible. Cost to acquire a customer was under £100. How much was it exactly? It was £82, so not too bad. A little bit on the high side, but as long as it's under £100, I've got no complaints. Square foot moved in wasn't amazing. We moved in 2,510 square foot. The churn, our average churn in the last 12 months for Clough Road has been 17%. And this month, it was 14%. So it's a little improvement, but it's still a lot. We moved in 2,510 and we moved out 1,795. So we was up 715, which isn't too bad. We're 78% occupied at Clough Road. That is pretty good for Clough Road. We can't lie. So yeah, I'm okay with Clough Road. I'm not over the moon, but I'm not disappointed either. Average insurance sold was £6,000, so that's acceptable. Revenue, it was our best revenue for 4 months, but that's not saying much at Clough Road, as we want to get to 37,500. What was it here? I've got the figures here. Yeah, including VAT, I've only got including VAT figure available to me right now. It was 36,289. So we're some way off our target, which is 37,500. Average customer value. Excuse me, I'm going to have a drink of water. Average customer value was 168. So the scores on the doors out of 10, it was a 7 out of 10. I do think Clough Road is heading in the right direction. Nice, positive net square foot. It's been for the last 2 months, so February and March, I've had positive square foot. I think we lost money. We lost square foot in April. So, but I think we lost square foot in almost all our sites in April, so that's not surprising. Let's have a look. What else are we going to show you? I've already done Willoughby, done Beverley, done Clough Road now. Um, let's have a look at Mansfield. I keep on saying the gift that keeps on giving. Not in April, it wasn't, but in March, I'm sure it was a really good month. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'll just check the score. Right. Quotes. Believe it or not, it was exactly the same as February. So that's incredible. 136 quotes in February, 136 quotes in March. Conversions were a lot better than February. We was over 30% for move-ins and reservations. We was 33% for reservations and 32% for move-ins. So really, really good there. Cost to acquire a customer was very low at 55 quid per move-in. So again, very, very happy with that. Square foot moved in was amazing. We moved in 4,510 square foot. That, my friends, is mental. Really happy. Excuse me. The churn rate was pretty decent at 11%. Yes, I know it's more than the average for the UK, but it's a new site, so you'd expect us to be a little bit higher. So that'll be 132% for the year, and I think the average is around about 100, looking at the new reports. So yeah, it's not too bad. Actually, it's 12% because it's 11.68. So if we round up, it's 12%. What else can we see? We moved out, I'll tell you the amount of square foot we moved out. We moved out 2,275. So the net result was 2,235. That is incredible. The average insurance for the month was 6,060. We aim for 6,000 as the average. So that's just okay. We're 90% occupied when we have ordered the second phase here. I put 90% occupied. Sorry, I do apologize. I didn't have a cough. I haven't been coughing all day, and all of a sudden I've got a tickly cough. So yeah, we've a 90% occupied, but I can tell you we're nowhere near 90% now because we had a disaster in April. So revenue, it was the best revenue month ever. Really, really pleased with revenue at Mansfield. It's shot up now to our second most revenue site, our second highest revenue site. Score. What's not to like here? Best revenue, low cost to acquire a customer, good conversions, over 2,000 square foot up and 90% occupied. 9.5 out of 10. What more do you need? 9.5 out of 10. However, like I say, April was not the same. April was a very, very tough month for Mansfield. But, excuse me, do you know what? That's actually okay because we've got a very limited amount of space anyway before phase two comes. So it's not too bad there because I think we're at like 80% occupied now, and therefore we've got 20% to go out before the new phase. The new phase isn't going to come for 3 months. So yeah, it's not the end of the world that we lost square foot there. Right, let's have a look at, is it Wrexham now? Wrexham monthly figures. Right, there's some good and there's some bad. Quotes were okay, slightly down on last month, but better than the 5 months prior to that one. So the quotes were 60. Conversions, a lot happier than we was in February. Over 30% for move-ins and reservations. So definitely happy with that. Let's have a look what there was. 33% for both. 33% for conversions, 33% for move-ins. So we moved in 20 people and we did 20 reservations. So that's good. Cost to acquire a customer is under £100. Let's have a look exactly what it is. It's £72 per moving. So not too bad. As long as it's under 100, I'm okay. Square foot moved in was awesome. Best for 7 months and second best ever. Let's have a look. 2,110. That is really, really good for Wrexham. Like I say, though, that was March. This is April. April's been nowhere near as good. The churn rate is really, really high. 16% churn rate. So that is not good. But we have put up the prices at Wrexham February because obviously supply and demand. We've got limited supply, so therefore, and demand is high, so we put up the prices to maximise it. We moved in 2,110, but we moved out 2,085. So we was up, but only just 25 square foot. So not amazing there. We're 80%. I've never coughed so much on a podcast ever. Sorry, I think I've got it now. I think that was a good cough, that one. Right, occupied 80%, We have added more internal units, so the occupancy has gone down from previous months. Average insurance sold was very low. What was it? 4,800, yes, and not very good. Revenue, best ever. Our true period rev was 20K. That's a run rate of 240,000, nearly a quarter of a million. This site will get to 300,000 in no time. And when we took it over, don't forget, it was doing around about 90,000. And now we're up to 240,000 on this run rate. So over the moon. Shoot, I've just come off it. What was the score? Oh, it was 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. You can't go higher than 7, even though it was highest move-ins, good revenue. The churn rate was so high, 16%. Oh, right. Glasgow, last site. Let's have a look at what Glasgow done. Oh, solid month here. Quotes were actually okay, especially given we've got no ads on. So we did 36 quotes and we've got no ads. Conversions were really good, especially considering we didn't have a lot of availability. Reservations and conversions were nearly 30%. What were they exactly, Dean? 28% were the reservations and 17% were the move-ins. The reason why the move-ins are so low percentage-wise because we're just about full. Now we're not. Now we've got more units there. But yeah, it was okay. It was good. Cost to acquire a customer was 0 as we had no ads on. Square foot moved in was really good, especially considering we didn't have any availability for a lot of a month. Over 1,000 square foot. Oh, excuse me. I can't wait to have a cup of tea. Is very, very solid. We moved in 1,120. We moved out 480. So the square foot moved in. Net square foot was 640 for the month. So that is pretty good. Churn rate, it was only 6%. I've put in capitals here. I love container sites. Low churn rate allows you to build a solid customer base quickly. 6% churn rate for a new site. That is brilliant. 640 square foot up for the month. I'm happy with that, given that we didn't have any availability for a chunk of a month. 84% occupied. The reason it's 84 is because we've added more containers now. Not shabby at all. At the start of the month, it was 100%, and we added more containers. And so therefore the occupancy has gone down because we had more square foot available. Average insurance sold was only 5,000. We can definitely improve on that, especially as a minimum insurance for a container, I believe, is £7,000. So obviously some people have took their own insurance. Revenue, best month ever, but because it's a growing site, you would 100% expect it to keep being the best month ever. Right, scores on the doors. That is my last cough, I promise. Right, 8 out of 10. A solid month. I don't think we could have done any more. We was hamstrung really by the fact we didn't have any extra units there. Now we built out the rest of it, and so yeah, we should be able to now move quickly, turn ads back on, and fill it up quickly for the summer period. So overall, it was a fantastic month. I wonder if I've got. I don't think I've got one saying overall for the month. No, I don't. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause it now and see if I've got something that I can show you the overall for the month because it's been an amazing month with March. Amazing. But do you know what? I feel like kind of fraud saying how good March was. March is amazing, yay! And then April, no good at all. So I'll pause it for now and see if I can find it. You lucky things, I found you a big report for everything, all sites. Right, check this out. Overall, this is all 6 sites because we haven't opened socials yet. 522 quotes. We amount of quotes per day are averaging 17. Number of reservations 169. That's a conversion rate of 32%. That is incredible. Incredible figures there. Amount of move-ins were 150 move-ins. That's a conversion rate of 29%. Again, incredible work, team. Really, really brilliant. Cancelled reservations was 22, which was 13% of our overall reservations. So that is too high, really high. Might have to look into that, exactly what's the problem there. Cost to acquire a customer average was £53.84. That is really good, but don't forget, Glasgow and Beverley, we didn't have any cost to acquire a customer because we didn't have any Google ads on, so it does affect the overall, that one. Square foot moved in was 16,410. I'm going to check the quarterly data and do another podcast about the quarterly data on Tuesday because I think that's important to have a look at. And then the rest of the week, I'll be doing the review of the report. We moved out 11,065, so it was 5,345 square foot up. That's incredible for 6 sites. Beautiful stuff. What else can I show you? We've got 869 total occupied internal rooms. Containers, we've got 252 rented out. So we've got over 1,100 units rented out now. That's brilliant. We've got 87,650 square foot rented out. That's 81% occupied. Revenue for the month, we took 221,501. So that's good. It was a £43,000 improvement from the previous month, but there's more days in March and February, so that affects it. The average insurance sold, we sold over £1 million, just over £1 million. But it sounds good, but the average was only 5,364 per customer who moved in. So it's not great. We want to be over £6,000 there. Average customer value is good, £191.30. The churn rate was 12%. So as a company, we are hitting 144%. That's a little high. That's almost 50% higher than the average in the UK. So it's maybe something we need to look at there. Right, that's it, my friends. I'll have a look at the quarterly data, and I'm going to do a podcast for you on Tuesday because I think it's good to talk about the quarterly data. And then moving on from that, then we'll do the annual report on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and depending on what the findings are, I'm going to go through it over the weekend. Really looking forward to that. And yeah, it'll be interesting stuff. All right, my friends, I love you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.